Carrol Nelson is a published author of children's books with an extensive background in personal development coaching and mentoring, as well as a cognitive behavioral therapist. Her passion for writing was reignited whilst she was working with disadvantaged children and young people in the care system. Her books captivate children's imagination whilst providing cultural diversity in an enchanting way, so you can give children access to books you wish you had as a child. Please welcome Carrol Nelson as she takes us on this children's workshop titled I Can Be Great.
Hello everyone, I am Carrol Nelson and I am a children's book author. I am delighted to be invited to take part in Akada's third Children's Book Festival. I would like to say a big thank you to the Clever Clogs team for inviting me to take part in the I Am Great workshop. I would like to share with you my first children's book today, which is called Dolly May and the Magical Enchanted Garden. But before I begin reading the story, I have found that in my experience as an author, as well as being a mother, I also worked with children, that books can enrich children's literary skills, their academic achievement, as well as their mental health and well-being. Today, I would like you to step into the magical enchanted garden of Dolly May and the magical enchanted garden of my first children's book. This story teaches children that they can be and do anything they put their mind to. There is no limit to their imagination. It introduces children to some great people who have helped to make our world a better place, to encourage them that they are great little people who can go on to become great people in this world. And tonight, I'm going to be reading to you from starting at chapter 4 in my book, Dream Big. Magi loved to play a game with the Martinis called Guess Who I Would Like to Be. Who would you like to be, Magi asked the Martinis softly as they gathered to play in her garden. I would like to be a doctor, said John and Junior, as they rushed around the garden with the wiggly worms chasing the screaming girls. Ah, said Magi, you can be great doctor, like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was one of the greatest world civil rights leaders for justice and peace. The Martinis stared in wonder. He made a famous speech called I Have a Dream, in which he described a vision of one day living in a world where people are no longer judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I want to be a leader, said Matthew gleefully. Magi was amazed by their imagination. You can become a great world leader like President Nelson Mandela, who was a world-famous South African human rights activist, political leader who fought against apartheid. He was awarded a Nobel Peace Prize winner and as well as the president of South Africa, Magi said with her eyes open widely. Guess who I would like to be, Magi? A scientist, said Donna and Pearl as they danced around Magi. Me too, said Letty. As Magi was passing around the fruit from her basket to the children, she embraced the little girls. My dear children, you are so remarkable, and you could be a great scientist like Katherine Johnson, Mary Jackson, and Dorothy Vaughan. Who are they? Asked the Martinis in their surprised little voices. These women were NASA's black mathematicians who work for the Apollo space program, and they helped send the first astronaut by the name of John Glenn into space. He flew the Friendship space mission to orbit the Earth beyond the stars. As the afternoon went on, the Martinis continued to play their favorite game with Magi. "Guess who I would like to be?" exclaimed Sophia, who ran swiftly into Magi's arms. "I would like to go above the skies to see the stars." "Oh, well, my dear child, you could be like Dr. Mae Jemison, NASA's former astronaut, who was the science mission specialist on one of their special missions. This 8-day mission was accomplished in 127 orbits of the Earth, a cooperative mission between United States and Japan." Jen and Peggy jumped up with their jolly voices. "We would like to fly a plane." Magi looked over with her knowing look and reassuring voice. "Well, you too could be like Bessie Coleman, a pioneering female in the field of American civil aviation. She was known as the world's greatest female stunt player and parachutist." Junior exclaimed, "I would just like to see the bottom of the sea." Magi expressed joyfully to Junior that he could be a deep-sea diver and studied the coral reef of our beautiful island as she marveled at his vivid imagination. Jay shouted over to Magi from behind the poinsettia tree, where he was enjoying his adventurous hide-and-seek game with Mally and JJ. "When I grow up, I know who I just want to be." "Now tell me, who would you like to be?" said Magi as she peered over towards the tree. "A writer," said JJ very boldly. "Me too, me too, me too," said Mally and JJ as they ran over to Magi. "You would make great writers," said Magi, "like Derek Walcott, who was a Caribbean Nobel Prize winner in literature, whose writing included poetry, theatre, journalism, painting, as well as teaching. And another is Dr. Maya Angelou, and she was awarded numerous prestigious awards. She was presented with honorary doctorates by more than 50 universities and colleges for her work as a civil rights activist, a poet, an actress, a movie director, producer of play, and as well as being a teacher. We are coming now to the final part of the story. Have courage. It was nearly time for the Martinis to go home, and just before they went on their way, Joyce and Dolly leapt up from their game of hopscotch and said, "We would like to be nurses." "How wonderful," said Magi. "Of course, children, you could be like Mary Seacole, who left Jamaica to went to nurse the soldiers in the war." Her application to join Florence Nightingale's team was refused, and she paid for the trip herself. This incredibly brave woman rode on horseback in the battlefield, even under fire, to nurse the wounded men on both sides of the war. One kind of a nurse. In Magi's magical garden, their imagination filled with wonder, and Magi often shared her wisdom with them all. On this occasion, Magi quoted a special verse from Dr. Maya Angelou: "The most important virtue is courage." And as it was time for them all to go home, Magi said, "Martinis, when you grow up, you must have courage, and you could be like any one of these great people and more." They looked at each other in wonder. We are to study and learn well at school, so the gates of knowledge and wisdom shall be open unto us. There are no limitations to what we can achieve. We will have our dreams realized and become phenomenal men and women and help our beautiful world. And thank you for listening. And we have now reached the end of this story. Thank you.
Akada.